Welcome back to another episode of If You Don't Know, Now You Know, our podcast through the Milton Museum in which we discuss varying topics that may not be well known about. Scroll back on our feed to find episodes on Juneteenth, Black Revolutionaries, and the Love v. Virginia Supreme Court case. Today we are discussing the topic of intersectionality. Now this is a term you might have heard before, it's kind of like a buzzword, but you might not have been completely sure what it was. I find that it's a term that you know what it is, you just may not know what it's called. To start, we need to start by talking about social identity. Social identities are the things that make us what we are, right? These are things like race, biological sex, gender, sexual orientation, age, socioeconomic status, education level, etc., etc. Your identities create a very unique and three-dimensional person that is you or myself. Now, social identity is very important because each brings a rich culture and often diverse subcultures. Some of these identities have privileges, while others are marginalized, all depending on the context. Now, the topic of intersectionality is the idea that you are never any of these social identity groups in isolation. You are never just your age or your race or your gender. You are always all of these identities simultaneously. I am a Black, African American, male, millennial, college graduate, and I am always all of those things at the same time. But what's important is I'm never the representative of all those identity groups. I am Black, I am a male, I am a millennial, I am not all Black people, I am not all men, and I am not all millennials. So that brings about the importance of, you can speak about the collective experience, but when you're talking, it's really crucial to talk from an I perspective and not a we perspective, because experiences are not universal, and a lot of that is because of this idea of intersectionality. Now, at certain times, certain identities can become more salient or aware to you. For instance, my name is Kanan Townsend. I work in a civil rights museum as director of education. So you might think that the identity that's most salient to me working at the Moton would be my race. Actually, my most salient identity at my job is probably my age. I have the honor to work with people who made history and who are quite a bit older than me. It becomes quite obvious when we have meetings and get-togethers. Intersectionality is important because it helps us to see people as three-dimensional. You may be privileged in one identity group and marginalized in others. If we fail to notice these dimensions of our existence, we let vulnerable people be taken advantage of, discriminated against, or systemically oppressed. Noticing difference is crucial to ensure we are all represented and all protected, and that we are all valued. So with that said, we'd all do better to go out and diversify our friend group, go meet people who are different than us, and try to understand as best we can experiences of others. With that said, it's been another episode of If You Don't Know, Now You Know. If you have topics or questions, feel free to email them to us at info@motonmuseum.org. See you next time. Bye.